Hi class, so today's video is on the theory of natural selection. Previously in our study, we have looked at how a mutation, that is a permanent change in the sequence of DNA nucleotides, causes genetic variation in a species. Now, we can see this in this diagram here, where the thymine, as shown here, changes to a cytosine, as you can see here. So there's a common misconception that a mutation is bad. However, certain inherited traits make it easier for some individuals to thrive and multiply, changing the genetic makeup of populations over time. And this is what Charles Darwin termed natural selection. So let's take a look at this example. Let's pretend that we are in London in the early 1800s, right as the Industrial Revolution is starting. In this moment in time, life is swell for the peppered moth. Its white-coloured body lets them blend in with the white-coloured tree bark and lichens, which means birds have a hard time seeing them. But with all these coal factories spewing soot into the air, it suddenly starts to get noticeably darker around. And all the trees have gone from looking like this to looking like this. So thanks to the soot-covered everything, the moth has problems. But you know who doesn't have problems? The moth's dark-coloured brother. He has a different form of the gene that affects pigmentation. So moths like this guy only represent 2% of the peppered moth population at the start of the Industrial Revolution. But by 1895, it'll be 95%. And you can see this as a 1 in 20 ratio. So why does this happen? Well, because as the environment gets darker, the black moths will be eaten less due to their ability to camouflage, and so have more opportunity to survive and to reproduce. Whereas the white moths find it difficult to blend in and get eaten by the prey. So over time, the black-coloured trait will become more common. Lots of factors play a role in how a species change over time, including mutation, migration, random changes in how frequently some alleles show up, a process known as genetic drift. But natural selection is the most powerful and most important cause of evolutionary change. It was Charles Darwin who first identified this process and had contributions from Alfred Wallace. Darwin spent his entire life obsessed with observing nature and studied all kinds of organisms in his journals. He hit upon a couple of particularly important factors in species survival. The first of these is the existence of variation. The second, different chances of survival based on traits. Thirdly, the reproduction of surviving individuals, allowing them to pass on traits. And lastly, a change in gene frequency due to some traits being removed and others favoured. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and we'll discuss this further in class tomorrow.